You that in the NFC least is no more. We think all this and so much more coming up on College Crossfire. I guess we'll get into it, guys. Always enthusiastic, unbelievable, hard-nosed.
Roll up the sleeves for this one.
This Dallas team was very overrated from the start, like they always are every year.
The talent there, Kevin Mack, Eric Davis, and Cohen Roach are maybe three of the most talented guys in the team.
Oh, that's an ugly shirt.
Always a pleasure having you on, guys.
Time to freak out, Reese.
Welcome into the only live sports show filmed right here on the 40 Acres. It's 9:02 and we're live. I'm Reese Miller. Glad you're with us. Great show for you tonight and a terrific panel as well. Let's go ahead and meet him. James Grachos, headlines, the returning panelist right here off to my right. James, last week said you weren't so good,
Yep.
ended up winning. How you feeling tonight?
You know what? Still not great, but
Yeah.
I'm recovering my voice from last week,
Great.
from all the yelling, but I'm ready to go.
Excellent, excellent. That's what I like to hear. And Nick Kucholtz, a freshman, new to the program, first time. How you feeling?
I'm giddy. I'm ready to get things rolling, so I'm coming with the hot takes, boys.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
we'll
Lots
see,
of
we'll see.
confidence
Yeah,
first time.
maybe.
Eric Goodman, perhaps. We hope not, but perhaps rumored, according to our sources, the only time he may be on the show with us this year, so trying to go one for one.
Might just be. I could be watching
Yeah.
Django Unchained right now, but you know, sacrifices.
Yeah,
gotta make sacrifices.
We'll try to be as good as Quentin
Indeed.
himself. Guys, late Saturday night, not so good for the Longhorns. The dream season came to an end in a heartbreak after a controversial call at the goal line that very easily could have given Texas another shot to tie. But guys, that's not why the Longhorns lost. They suffered a 50-43 smashing in Berkeley. Davis Webb and Chad Hansen shredded the Longhorns defense. They gave up over 500 total yards. Guys, simple question, is it time for Vance Bedford to go and maybe Charlie Strong doing what he's known for and taking over this defense after really struggling defensively against Notre Dame and now against Cal? James.
You know, when we look back at Charlie Strong's history and why we hired him, we look at Florida as a defensive coordinator and Louisville where he coached very, very well. In 92 games with Florida, in 92 games, they gave up more than 40 points 3 times. In 50 games with Louisville, 1 time over 40 points. So I think it's pretty obvious. It's been a disaster so far. And improves communication, maybe, but Charlie's got to do something here.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Got to get his footprint back on that defense a little bit. Nick, what do you think about this Texas D?
I don't know if it's time for Vance Bedford to go. I definitely think it's time for him to stop calling the plays defensively. As you said back at Florida, Charlie Strong, people seem to forget that Charlie Strong has 2 national championships as a defensive coordinator. So, but I also don't think play calling is the only problem within the Texas defense. I think a big chunk of it is who they're actually starting in the defensive 11. And I look at the safety position, both Jason Hall and Dylan Haynes. Vance Bedford has emphasized for a long time he loves these upperclassmen. He loves playing these guys who are seniors and juniors, but they've been playing awfully. So I think it's time most definitely for Deshaun Elliott and Brandon Jones to come in to start at safety, and then from there, Texas defense will definitely play better if they play the right guys and make the right calls.
Yeah, you're right. Vance kind of reminds me of Rick Barnes, a guy who doesn't want to play any of the younger guys until they're, at least later on in their sophomore season. So that with Miles Turner a little bit even. What a mess that was. Eric, what do you think about this Texas defense, Charlie, and the Vance situation?
Well, first thing, I'm going to put a little spin on this loss to Cal. I think it was a good thing that the offense didn't get another chance to come back and maybe tie and possibly win the game, because then you'd overlook the glaring error, which is that the defense is not in a good place right now. And had they won that game against Cal, this bye week would have gone and there'd be positive feelings and nobody will do what needs to be done and really examine this defense. It needs to be Charlie and Vance together as a unit, both going in and reassessing who their playmakers are, how they can capitalize on those playmakers. And that doesn't mean making a coaching change. I know Charlie Strong put a lot of the loss on the coaching staff, but if you fire Vance Bedford and bring in another coordinator, I don't think that does anything to fix the problem, which is that there's just not scheming well. And take this bye week, Charlie and Vance together. It's always been Charlie's defense, Vance just kind of calling, making the moves. It needs to stay that way. It just needs to be reassessed and reschemed.
Wow, great stuff from all you guys. I'm feeling a little generous. I'm feeling good. Pep you guys all up. 1 point across the board. And Nick, I really liked what you said. about the young guys. Didn't see Malcolm Roach and Brecken Hager, the two guys who seem to be able to rush the passer until later in that second half. So everybody's starting off with a point here. Texas is now ranked 21st in the country after the loss, dropping 10 spots. Meanwhile, Notre Dame fell from fell 2-1-2 on the year, and at one point was down 36-7 at Michigan State. Guys, does a combination of these two things make you sort of reevaluate the Longhorn season, and what's sort of their outlook for the rest of the year? Notre Dame now unranked. That was sort of the big shiny win. Doesn't look quite as good now. Nick, what do you think about the rest of the Longhorns year going forward now?
Well, I think looking at last week's loss, obviously there's definitely going to be some reevaluations after a loss. But I think the loss came at a perfect time for a loss, even though there's no good time for a loss. If there is a decent time, that would come in before a bye week, before conference play starts. So I think Texas is in a position where they have time to reevaluate and to make better defensive decisions and starting who they're going to play defensively and on special teams and so on and so forth. But I don't think the loss against Cal actually negatively affected Texas's chance at winning a Big 12, solely because I don't think the Big 12 is that good. And I think that Texas has as good of a chance as anyone in the Big 12 because I haven't seen a team in the conference that's impressed me a lot. So there's definitely some reevaluation, some things that Texas needs to fix and needs to fix soon if they want to play competitively, especially coming in first two games in Stillwater against Oklahoma State and then the Cotton Bowl against the Oklahoma Sooners. So there's definitely some reevaluations that need to be made, but I don't think the loss hurt their chances at all to win the conference title. I think it's completely up for grabs for anybody to win.
Yeah, that Cal offense may resemble a few Big 12 offenses as well, so maybe a little preview of things to come. Eric, what do you think about the future of the Longhorn season?
Well, the first thing I'd say that's been bugging me for over 2 weeks is that Texas was never at any point the 11th best team in the nation. And that was the biggest overreaction by the Associated Press to put them there. And the fact that that Texas has fallen from 11 to 21, that's probably where they should have been after the Notre Dame win.
That's a good point.
And I don't think you need to take anything away from that win based on Notre Dame's performances. Malik Zaire is still, Kaiser, Kaiser is still, incredible, one of the top quarterbacks in college football. And Texas really did a good job of matching up offense to offense with that. And wins are going to come down the road against, this weaker Big 12, and I don't think there's much of a question about that. And maybe the reassessing needs to happen within the team. I don't think expectations need to be reassessed. I think we should still hold Texas to that standard of challenging for a Big 12 for a Big 12 title, and challenging Oklahoma and Baylor and TCU down the road.
Yeah. So Eric's saying not much shine taken away from what Notre Dame's done the last couple weeks. James, what do you think here?
I think this is a massive change in the way that I think about the team. I thought that their offense is still one of the better offenses in the Big 12, if not the best. Deontay Foreman has shown unbelievable skill through the first 3 games, and between Buechele and Swoops.
Leads the Big 12 in rushing and missed a game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So what's sad is that I thought this team, if the defense could let up 30 points a game, maybe this team could win the Big 12 or something. But I'm worried. Charlie Strong doesn't say much in his press conferences, but he said, when we call a play, we need to make sure the player understands it. That is a massive, massive problem for me. And I am seriously reevaluating. When we're playing TCU, we're playing Oklahoma, and when we're playing Baylor, are they that different from what Cal threw at us?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried.
James, I'm with you here. I think Cal might be a mediocre team. Can we say if they were in the Big 12 and they shredded Texas? I get they're a good offense, but I think it's a preview of things to come. And I thought Notre Dame was really good, and that was a really good win for Texas. You can't take it away at the time, but either way, I think there's some shine taken off of it. And I think moving forward, I'm a little nervous. I thought Texas had a chance to start 4-5-0 and see what happens. But anyways, we'll see. So James is getting the point moving forward, guys. We're through 3 weeks of the college football season, and the Big 12 is down to just a pair of undefeated teams in West Virginia and the Baylor Bears. Oklahoma, the preseason favorite, now already has 2 losses. Looks like a down year for the conference, guys. Does anyone in this conference have a chance of getting into that college football playoff right now? Outlook not so good. Eric, what do you think?
All right, without going on a playoffs rant, I'm going to say that the Big 12 has much bigger problems than whether they're going to have a team in the top 4 contending for a championship. First of all, October 17th, expansion meeting. You got to get a conference championship, which means you got to add 2 teams. And, we'll see what those 2 teams are. And then
maybe they should add Houston, and then they might get somebody in the
You're
playoff.
right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah. The thing, if we're going to talk about any sort of playoff hope, you got to look at Oklahoma. I still think is the strongest team in the conference, and they have no shot with 2 losses.
Right.
And then you have teams that last year, when Oklahoma did make it, weren't in the fold. Like Louisville looks like that they're completely legit, at least after these 2 weeks. And then Houston, like you said, could easily run the table, and if they run the table, they're in, and I don't think anybody on the committee could say otherwise. So no shot Big 12 makes the playoff. Big 12, figure yourself out, add your teams, get your conference championship, and then we'll talk.
Bummer. Could be the first conference to miss the college football playoff twice.
On that, Texas
this year.
Texas could still win and make the New Year's Day Bowl and have a nice season, but no playoff.
If Texas won out, but again, that's a huge if, and they won't. I don't think they will.
Let's hear the
James,
hypothetical.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So statistically, there are two teams that I think can still make the playoff. It's Baylor and Texas. Neither of them are making it. Baylor, there is a 0% chance that college football would let Baylor, after everything that's happened in the last year.
And with a week out of conference, they play at Azle High School in Canada out of conference. So.
Right, yeah. So it's really looking bad. I think if Texas finds a way to get out of this with only one more loss, I mean, they're probably going to be at a ridiculous rank yet again.
Yep.
But there's no chance.
Yep, no chance. Says he. What do you think, Nick?
I'm not 0% like both of these guys are, but I'm very slim as well. A lot of people picked the Oklahoma Sooners before the season, and rightfully so, coming off the year they had last year. I picked the TCU Horned Frogs. I thought at the start of the season I really liked TCU. They were getting a lot of guys defensively back from injuries. I thought TCU was going to be a team that could possibly make the playoff, but now, again, chances are very slim. I think there's a chance teams like Texas, but they'd have to win out. Baylor obviously would have to win out too, even though they're undefeated as of now. They still, I think, have to go undefeated. I don't see a team from the Big 12 making it, specifically because I don't think there's a team in the Big 12 that's going to run through the conference, win all their games. And as Eric said earlier, OU's already got 2 losses. Texas has a loss. Texas Tech has a loss. I don't see a team from the Big 12 making the playoff.
Yep. We're all in agreement here, guys. Everyone's getting a point. I know you guys love me or hate me for that, whatever you guys
Santa
do.
Claus tonight.
Everyone's getting a point. Great stuff, guys. That's gonna
You
do
get
it
a
for round
point.
one
You get
here. Good stuff. Up next, we will look at the 0-2 teams around the NFL. Who can recover and who's stuck in the dump? Also, who can challenge those lovable losers? We're back after this.
Oh, that's nobody, baby. Nobody.
Thanks for keeping it here on this Wednesday night. Before we get to round 2, let's take a look at the leaders in the clubhouse. We've got some golf fans, also some hockey fans on tonight's panel. Right now, the great James Grachos, defending champs, got 3. Pair of 2 and 2 on that other side of the table. Guys, plenty of time to get things rolling. Good show so far. Let's get into round 2. In the preseason, it looked as if the NFC East would once again be one of the worst divisions in all of football, especially after Tony Romo went down for Dallas. However, the Giants and the Eagles are 2-0. Philly and Dallas look like they have QBs of the future. And Washington won the division last year. They're 0-2, guys. What do we make of this division? And who's the biggest threat right now to maybe even contend? James, what do you think?
You know what? Surprisingly, I got the Eagles. I didn't see this. I did not see this at all early in the preseason. But there are 3 reasons. Jim Schwartz, love Jim Schwartz. He did great stuff with the Bills. That D-line is looking very similar to the Bills. Powerful. Now Carson Wentz as well. He's not making any mistakes. His footwork's very good, and his release is spectacular. And you know what? He's getting the job done. And thirdly, their schedule is really good. Their toughest games of the season, the Steelers, the Pack, and the Vikings, at least in the more recent future, they're all at home. And at the end of the season, you got 3 home games that are very important: the Redskins, the Boys, and the Giants.
Yep.
So I got the Eagles.
The Eagles. Surprise pick there. Nick, what do you think here in the NFC East?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I like Carson Wentz. I think he's a winning
He's
quarterback, but I'm not going with the Eagles to win the division. I like the New York Giants. Say what you will about Eli Manning, but those 3 the receivers that they have, Sterling Shepard, Victor Cruz, and of course Odell Beckham Jr., all 3 of those receivers are a quarterback's dream. Every direction Eli Manning looks, he has a weapon to throw to. I like the Giants winning it, and I don't know what the record will be. I'm going with 10-6, but I think that's good enough to win the NFC East.
Seems like a winnable division, but it almost seems like it's time for things to go Eli Manning's way a little bit. Hasn't gone that way the last couple of years. Feel like we're kind of due for a Giants run, maybe. Eric, what do you think?
Well, Nick, my buddy, good old Cowboys fan, said it as good as I could ever have as a Giants fan. This is the easiest question I've ever been asked on College Crossfire. Are you kidding me? Look at the quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins, and then 2 rookies. Carson, they're both looking good. You know, I'll give them that. Both have had really a spectacular first couple weeks. But it's Eli Manning. Here's a guy who's won 2 Super Bowls and has got, you know, a legitimate gripe at a Hall of Fame if he gets, you know, a season or 2 more, another playoff run, another Super Bowl, guaranteed playoff or guaranteed Hall of Famer. So, and he's got the weapons this year that no one has in the league, let alone in the NFC East. This is the easiest question. It's the Giants.
Both of you guys sold me pretty hard on the Giants. The Eags, I just don't see it. No one said Cows. I think if Tony Romo comes back and healthy, I think with Tony Romo, by his side, with Tony Romo, I think Dallas is the best team in the division. I think by far the best offense. You two guys are getting the point for the Giants. I didn't hear Dallas. Both of you guys make solid points. It feels like it's time for Eli to get things right. Although both wins not super
Eli's been
impressive
getting it right for
so
years.
far.
Easy.
Eli's been getting it right.
They found a way to
years.
lose games last year. So
Some
far,
years.
they found a way to win games. You guys are getting the point. Historically, starting 0-2 does not bode well for the postseason. Only 12% of those teams that start 0-2 make the postseason, and yet several perennial contenders find themselves there right now, including the New Orleans Saints, the Colts, the Redskins, who won the East last year, Miami, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Chicago, and, of course, the Cleveland Browns are there as well, guys. What do you think? What team do you guys think has the best chance of reversing this trend? Seems like we've got some teams that I would have projected to be 0-2 at least. Nick, what do you think?
I like the New Orleans Saints specifically because of Drew Brees. He's still one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. Their 2 losses so far are by a combined 4 points. So really, when you look at the Saints, they already have 2 receivers that have over 200 receiving yards through the first 2 games of the season. The passing offense is still deadly. The rushing game needs a bit of improvement. Mark Ingram's their leading rusher with only 88 yards in 2 games, so they have to develop some sort of ground game. But the Saints play Monday Night Football this week against the Atlanta Falcons, a division rival. So if they're going to turn this around, they've got to do it starting Monday night. But I like Drew Brees and I like the New Orleans Saints.
How about Willie Snead? Kind of out of nowhere.
Absolutely. And Brandon Cooks, so
yeah,
both
absolutely.
of them.
Yeah, looking good. Eric, what do you think?
Well, we've been looking at the AFC South for the last 10 years as the weakest division in football. NFC East kind of giving it, you know, a
Definitely
push.
giving it a run last couple of years.
Giving it a run the last couple of years. But you got, I think, the 2 best teams in that division at 0-2 with Indianapolis and Jacksonville. We've been saying Andrew Luck is going to take this Indianapolis team to the playoffs in a legitimate run for a long time, and it kind of hasn't materialized yet. And I don't see weapons around him that give me confidence that he's going to do it this year. And I still like my Jacksonville Jaguars. Born, raised in Jacksonville. I've been around this team since it was, you know, the laughingstock of the league. And it still might be, but I don't think after this week that they're going to be as bad as they've been. And I think they've got a really good defense. And Blake Bortles is legit with weapons. I like them to kind of go forward and take that division over the Texans.
So that's your AFC team. NFC teams, you get one for each
Now
conference.
you don't. I don't like. You don't get 2 teams. I think you get 1 team. I don't care where you're from. I think you get 1 team.
I think you get 1 as well. But anyways, I thought Jacksonville would be a surprise team. Kind of let me down the first couple weeks. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we just need to pump the brakes for a little bit. The Colts are going to be fine. You know what? Last 2 seasons, they've gone 0-2. In the last 2 seasons, it's been fine. They made the AFC Championship in 2014, and you always trust the quarterback. You know, as a Bills fan, watching Tom Brady pick apart every team he plays, I'm always gonna have to trust the quarterback. So I think the Colts are gonna be fine.
No defense on the Colts, not a lot of playmakers, but they have Andrew Luck.
And the
they
defense
had gotten
is
better
getting healthier.
every year until last year when Andrew Luck missed time. I'm all in riding the Colts. James getting the point, guys. The Texas Rangers have a chance to clinch the AL West division as possibly as early as tomorrow night in Arlington. But the Chicago Cubs have already won the NL Central. Meanwhile, the Nats and Mets have injury issues, and the Dodgers and Giants, quite frankly, don't even look like contenders right now. Guys, what team, if any, has the best chance at beating or even challenging the Cubbies come October time in the National League? Eric, what do you think?
Do the Mets have injury issues? I hadn't heard that the Mets had injury issues. I thought
only,
they were
only
fine.
their entire starting rotation.
So, as much as I would love to predict a replication of what happened with the Mets last year, sweeping the Cubs, an equally strong Cubs team. They didn't have as great of a regular season, but similar team. it's a AAA lineup and pitching staff at this point, minus a few stars like Cespedes and Syndergaard. So it's not going to be the Mets. You got to look at the San Francisco Giants being an even year, being that Bruce Bochy, Buster Posey, Madison Bumgarner, they have the qualifications and the repertoire to beat whoever they come up against in the playoffs, even if it's the Cubs. So they're the biggest threat for me this postseason.
Yeah, maybe best team in the league at the All-Star break, kind of fallen off since then.
It's been bad.
Trying to get the wheels back going here. James, what do you think?
Yeah, it's same issue with the Nationals. They're having some health issues.
Yeah.
Harper's not 100%, and
Strasburg.
Strasburg is hurt. But you never know. When we get to the playoffs, something good could happen. If Harper gets hot and Strasburg, Scherzer, and Roark, if they out-ace the Cubs, it is possible. But, it's unlikely. It's a matter of the team. It's a matter of the team getting hot.
Yeah.
So that is the only thing you can say.
Whoever gets hottest. Who do you think gets hottest?
I think I'll make it clear first that I think the Chicago Cubs are going to run through the NL and make the World Series. Now, I do think the team that gives them the most competition is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers have struggled in the postseason a lot lately. They've made the playoffs the past 3 years, but actually haven't won a division series since 2013. I also think Clayton Kershaw is going to turn things around in the postseason, so I'm going with the Dodgers because I'm not sure if the Giants are going to make it, and I would pick the Giants, but right now it's the Dodgers for me.
You're going with the Dodgers, Nick. I'm going with you. I think they have the most complete team that could, I don't think they will, but could challenge the Cubs. It will certainly be a fun October. We're all done with round 2, but points are doubled, and rapid fire will be lit up next. Welcome back to College Crossfire. Just about time for rapid fire. Points will be doubled. Guys can jump in at any time. One last look at the leaderboard. Got a close one, guys, amongst the clubhouse. Everybody's got a shot at it just the way we like it. Only time for 2 rapid-fire questions tonight, so let's go ahead and get into it. You may have seen last Friday night in Houston, the Rice Band formed a Title IX. They also formed a star, poking fun at the not-so-funny things that happened at Baylor the last couple years. So the question, guys, is quite frankly, what could the Texas Band do at an OU game? Maybe a Baylor, but we're looking for funny Texas band formations. Not replicating what Rice has done, but something creative here.
Well, Longhorn band love. Shout out to Jordan Sanchez.
Oh, I see. All right, let's take a look at the funniest thing that's happened in college football, and it's OSU losing to Central Michigan in spectacular fashion. So I say we can start maybe shovel passing and moving our instruments, kind of similar to how Central Michigan do it. Get creative. It's the last play of the game. Why not?
So just throw instruments, just like
throw
throw
instruments,
tubas.
and then the guy just is on it, right there.
I like that.
I like the plain formation of OU sucks. Now that A&M's gone, that's Texas' only rival left in the conference, and
So
that's
OU
what
sucks?
the fans say all game. OU sucks. That's what I'd do if I was the band.
Yeah. Unless OU beats them, though.
Yeah, well, that could cause an issue. But
Eric, what do you think?
I'm sticking with the Sooners for now. I watch Sooner game. I can't watch Sooner games because every play, Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner. If the Longhorn Band could play any sound, any loud sound, just to drown that out, so I could watch a game, I would love them for that.
Okay. I gotta go with James here. Nothing would be more hype than lateraling tubas and trombones.
Sousaphones.
You could flutes as instruments and whatnot. So James gets 2 points here, guys. Last question. For the dub this week, LeBron James and Mark Wahlberg announced they will be teaming up on an upcoming movie, guys. So you can't use these two, but if you were to pair an actor or actress along with an athlete, what movie would it be, or at least what athlete and actor would you pair?
athlete for me is easy, Marshawn Lynch. I just want to see what he's like in a
Took
movie.
mine, no.
And I'll put him with Kevin Hart. I want to see what would happen with Marshawn Lynch and Kevin Hart together. That's an interesting combination, but
Like that.
That's
strong.
That's
you gotta have
that's
Marshawn. You gotta
the
have
answer I was
Marshawn
going
Lynch.
with.
You gotta have
This-
Marshawn.
Yeah,
Lynch,
what a
so.
character, man.
I'm gonna keep it simple. Brad Pitt, Derek Jeter, bar scene, New York. That they are gonna go on a tear like no one has ever seen before, and that is all I have to say.
It's current. It's living on the edge. Eric, you got anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to see Tony Romo and Mel Brooks just talking about how sad it is to not be relevant anymore.
Okay, all right.
That just makes
Let's stop
me,
with the Romo.
That just makes me
Let's stop with the
depressed.
Romo.
So glad you're not coming back for the rest of the
Okay, yeah.
Just kidding about that. But James is getting the win.
Oh God.
With the Jeets. I know you may not be able to come back
Yeah.
next week, but he's got the
Brad Pitt's hard to
Jeets. He's got fresh on the market Brad Pitt. would be legendary. Do we have any time for Grachos FaceTime?
All
yes,
right.
we do. It's all you.
Can't wait.
Wow.
Phil Kessel, you are the man, and I love you. You leave Toronto, you go win a cup, you're the
man.
best, and then when USA Hockey decides to not take you, you rub their face in it when they lose to Canada last night and get eliminated from the World Cup of Hockey. Good for you, Phil Kessel. You're the man.
Love it. Love the hockey reference. It's almost hockey season. James Grachos, back-to-back wins. That will do it for Show 3 here on College Crossfire. Catch us every Wednesday night at 9, sometimes 9:02. Check out College Press Box. Mondays at 9:30 for the latest in Longhorn sports. Check us out on social media as well at TSTV Sports. All the reporters out there covering Texas. And as always, a special thanks to everyone in studio, Master Control, our great panelists, Eric Goodman, first-timer Nick Kucholtz, and James Grachos, the winner, and a special thanks to you, as always, for spending your night with us. Until next time, I'm Reese Miller. Have a good night.